Hello, this is Riikka Kovasin doing my first voiceover for 7.studio tutorial. And here you can see me starting to do a layout. I'm using a jelly plate this time to make my first background layer, and I have to give credit to Marsha, who again inspired me to use this wonderful tool. As you can see, I first put some acrylic paint on the plate, then layered them, and using a stencil to make some pattern to the paint. And here we go again, doing another layer, just a bit yellow to the plate, layering, then I'm using another stencil to make more layers to the background. As you can see, I'm trying to not to make the whole print, but just use partials of the plate. And as the first layers were a bit lighter color, this time I'm using red and pink to make a more contrast to the background. And this time I'm using the stencil also like a stamp, getting the pattern into the page as well. First, just a teeny tiny bit of the red in the middle, and then I'm covering parts and using just the parts of the print in my layout. And lastly, I'm using the whole plate, jelly plate, as a stamp to get all the paint to the background. Just a few ghost-like prints with the stencil. Next, I'm using the same stencils and acrylic paints to add a bit texture to the places where there's none, or where I need that there needs to be more. I'm using orange and yellow at this point. In the finished layout you don't see those layers that much, but they are in there. Now that the paints are dry, I'm adding some pencil scribbles, doing just 3 circles, and then adding stamping. I'm going around the same area I've been going around with the paints already, changing the stamp in the middle and using a couple of different designs to make the page interesting and the background interesting. And this is actually the title of the page, even though you can't see it in the ready layout that much. And at this point I felt that the background needed some light, so I'm adding white gesso splatters to the background. Just using a bit water to make the gesso thinner so it flies better. And now I'm using soft gel, but you can use any kind of glue to make some glitter splashes. Again, you need to make sure that all the layers are dry before you add the splashes, because otherwise the glitter will stick to anything that is not dry. Then I'm just pouring the glitter on top, and the end result is glitter splashes. And then onwards to the paper layers. I'm usually ordering my photos like 10 centimeters by 15 centimeters and cutting them smaller to have the background showing more. And the first thing when I'm doing paper layers, I just cut random sized paper pieces, some like more rectangular and more like strips of paper, and then I just start to layer them behind the photo, keeping the photo and the paper layers on my hand. I'm trying to balance, like if there's some red on the left side of the photo, there should be some red on the right side of the photo too, and same with the white, and just gathering the pieces the way I want. When I have the layers ready, then I just staple them together with the stapler and make sure that everything is where I want. Now there's a white piece on the left side, so I need a teeny tiny on the right side as well. Next thing, I'm adding the layers to the background and the photo on top of the layers with foam dots to have more height to the project. As you can see, I don't use adhesive that much, just a few dots here and there. And here we go, now it's in the page. Then it's time to add the embellishments. For this layout I'm using a Wow Studio Flare and some die cuts and stickers from 7 Dot Studio. I try to incorporate embellishments that get the feeling of the page, like because this is happy and there's my 2 shining stars. There's the star die cuts and also sayings like I love you. I don't usually think about the composition that much. I just try a piece in a few places, and usually it's the first place where I put the embellishment is where it's going to be. Just gluing the final touches and adding a few paper clips. Just making sure that stars will be there even though they are stapled. Then I also love to use something scattered kind of elements. Of course splashes are like that, but teeny tiny pearls or half pearls are good for that one too, so just adding a bit of a sparkle there. And usually the last detail is some hand-drawn doodles, just tiny stars and circles this time with the white pen, and then I'm doing the journaling with the black pen. And here you can see the finished page. Here you can see the still photo of the page still and a few detail shots. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see the list of materials I used, please either visit my own blog, Paperiliitin, or then 7 Dot Studio blog. Thank you and hope to see you again. Bye!